What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Once again, Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Today I want to do a little bit of a hacker Whois on an interesting group, a group that still hasn't been brought down or fully identified, called the Lazarus Group. I gotta say, all the way around, the most interesting part of this story, the most interesting part of this situation, is the amount of time, effort, and willpower put in by multiple organizations to get as much information as they could, and how good the Lazarus Group is at hiding their tracks. They don't advertise what they're doing. You have to be able to see exactly what they're doing to be able to tell telltale signs of it being these individuals. There are other hacker groups that have taken responsibility for the actions of the Lazarus Group, but when these groups like Kaspersky Labs looks at how this malware, how the malware they were dealing with, how it works, they know right off that it's the Lazarus Group. It's their code. Anyways, a huge coalition formed Operation Blockbuster to find these guys and to try to take them down. Kaspersky Labs originally allied themselves with Alien Labs, Alien Vault Labs, and from there they discovered that there was so many groups out there individually trying to get information about the Lazarus Group. So they all, again, brought themselves together. They united, and as a unit, they had much more information than any of them would have had individually. Most of y'all out there are going to know the Lazarus Group as being the individuals that hacked Sony and leaked all of their emails, leaked the emails of the most important people. If you go through the history of their attacks and the manner of their attacks, it's very easy, and you would be forgiven for thinking that these individuals are linked to North Korea, or maybe even are North Korean. The first traces that we can find of this group is from 2007, Operation Flame, where first generation malware was used against the South Korean government. Their next big attack would come in 2011, an attack called the 10 Days of Rain, where South Korean media, financial, and critical infrastructure was targeted. This ended up amounting to ultimately a giant DOS attack that ultimately came from infected systems within South Korea. Strangely, two other groups, the New Romantic Cyber Army Team and Whois team, took credit for these attacks, but researchers figured out pretty quickly that it was the Lazarus Group that was behind it. Last but certainly not least, the Lazarus Group is responsible for the Sony breach. You guys might have remembered way back in the day Sony had all of their emails leaked, at least Sony USA, and there was a big concern that everybody's sign-in for the PlayStation Network had been hacked and their information had been taken too. Hey, I wasn't too worried about that. I didn't have a system at that time, but shortly after it I did, and because of that I got 3 free video games from Sony, so they cleaned up pretty nicely there, but a lot of information got leaked about Sony through their emails that showed people exactly how it worked. This has repercussions, long-lasting. I was even hearing about this leak later on when there was a big argument whether the latest Ghostbusters movie was going to be any good, why it was all made with females, and who was supposed to get involved. All that information leaked through emails, very unprofessional emails, hilariously unprofessional. But these guys, the Lazarus Group, was definitely responsible, but they tried to do it under the name the Guardians of Peace. This is interesting. This is a very powerful group that doesn't want anyone to know exactly who they are. It really kind of sounds like they're mercenaries. The most latest escapades of the Lazarus Group has to be the WannaCry virus. Many people are totally 100% convinced that they are responsible for creating the WannaCry virus. And if you don't remember, it was about 2 months ago now, or at least 2017. Not sure what year it is when you're listening to this. 2017. There was a huge virus that got released all over the internet, particularly hit Britain and devastated its healthcare system because they wouldn't get off Windows XP, and it encrypted everything, and it was a huge pain in the butt for everybody. This was a special malware that was using NSA leaked hacks These hacks were things that NSA had given the Equation Group. The Equation Group was a bunch of hackers that arguably does work, is contracted by the NSA. The Equation Group got their things hacked, and this information got out to the shadow brokers who released it, and it seems like the Lazarus Group put a crypto virus, really nasty crypto virus, on top of this leak and started devastating the world ultimately with it. Unfortunately, one of the only pieces of information that I'm having a struggle getting is why they are named the Lazarus Group. Who named them the Lazarus Group? Where has that name been coined? Now, Lazarus, I assume, has been being taken from the Bible, the New Testament. He's one of the gentlemen that Jesus resurrected. Lazarus was a friend or a brother of a friend of Jesus. Jesus came to heal Lazarus. Lazarus was already dead. He went to the tomb, and Jesus ultimately said, "Get out." And Lazarus, got to his feet and got out. And again, I have no idea why they would name this group the Lazarus Group. It should definitely be said that America and South Korea haven't been the only targets. India and Russia have also been big targets. They've been other places too, that's for sure. Anyways, that's it from me, Nev from Nev's Tech Bits. Like and subscribe if you like this stuff. And if there are any updates about this group, if they ever get caught, I'll provide updates. Have a good one, folks.